Hey everybody, welcome back. So I want to do a quick review, quote unquote, of the new 4K release from the Criterion Collection of George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. Now this was restored in 4K just a few years ago, and obviously did get a Blu-ray release from the Criterion Collection. And one thing that is very special is that the 4K restoration of Night of the Living Dead was actually one of the last things George Romero actually ever did before he passed. So at least, you know, there's a part of me that it kind of, as sad as it is, and I kind of think back on that, I'm kind of glad that, like, you know, he was able to actually see the restoration that was done, which is an amazing restoration. I mean, whoever thought like we were going to see the film look this good? And then finally, we now have it in 4K, which I was kind of hoping, you know, that we would get eventually. So I'm going to show off the packaging real quick. So unlike the Blu-ray, which came in sort of like a cardboard thing, this actually is in a proper case. And there's the front with the artwork that Criterion did do. And there's a side with the title, and then there's the back just with the basic info. And inside there is kind of a thing. I'll get to that in just a moment. Let's just showcase the discs real quick. So here's the 4K disc, and then the Blu-ray, and then the extras Blu-ray. Now I believe these two discs are the exact same that were in their previous Blu-ray release. And there is something on the back of the insert. Just have actually this cool artwork. Sorry about the glare. Hopefully you can see that okay. Very, very nice. And it comes with this, which I think this might be the same thing that was in the Blu-ray as well. So on one side actually has this poster of Kyra Schoen from, obviously played the little girl in the film, and then it's got a bunch of writings on the back, kind of essays and things. Again, I think this is the same one that was in the Blu-ray, if I'm not mistaken. Again, not that that's a bad thing, because, you know, because like not everyone bought the Blu-ray, and sometimes it's nice, you know, when you upgrade, like you kind of want to have everything that you had before, so that, you know, if you want to sell off the older version, you can, and you're not missing anything. So basically, because the included Blu-ray is, the two Blu-rays are actually the same, there's not really anything new there as far as extras, and that edition actually had amazing extras. You know, it ported over some existing extras, and it has a lot of new ones, and includes the original, like, it's not quite a rough cut, but see the Night of Anubis cut as well. It's in very rough shape, you know, it's kind of like, it's definitely like an extra, but still kind of, you know, it is fun that it's there, and that obviously is in this release as well. I think the only thing it doesn't have, if I mean, am I remembering this wrong? I don't think it has the, what was it, the One from the Fire, or One for the Fire, that documentary that was done a couple of years ago. I think it was on like an older DVD release, if I remember correctly. That's the only thing that is not here. So not quite complete, but pretty close. So, I mean, as far as extras go, I mean, that definitely, did I do a review of the Blu-ray? I don't remember. So as far, I'm going to go kind of reverse order here. But so we'll start with the extras since I just talked about them. So I'll probably give them about, I think like a 4.5, because I don't know what else you could really have as far as extras go, outside of, again, if it included the One for the Fire, I'm remembering the title of that wrong, but I think, God, I hope not. But if it included that, then I'd probably almost give it like a full 5, actually. Now, as far as then the video goes, so it does match, obviously, the Blu-ray. It's using the exact same 4K restoration. Now, the 4K disc doesn't have anything. It literally only has the movie on it. It doesn't even have anything else. It's literally just a film presentation. You know, which is fine, but just know that when you are upgrading, technically you're only upgrading for the one disc, actually. But again, if you want to sell off, if you have the Blu-ray already, you want to sell it off, you can. So as far as the quality goes, I mean, it looks great in 4K. You know, it's a fantastic restoration that was done, and it's presented here awfully well. I'd say if there's a caveat to it that I do need to mention, is the fact that it's not HDR. It's actually SDR. Now, is that a big deal? Not really. I mean, there is the nice thing about HDR is that you're going to get an extra level of color information. You know, that color range is going to be much more in depth than in an SDR presentation. Now, granted, you can make the argument, it's like, well, it's a black and white film, really doesn't make that much of a difference, and it'd be like, you know what, and honestly, yeah, that's actually a pretty accurate statement. I will say though, especially as I was watching it, that I do think if this was HDR, some of the gray levels in there, I think would have been a little bit better. They would have been a little bit more, instead of like just gray, like you would have a little bit more of a subtlety to them, a little bit more of a gradation in them. Not that noticeable. I'm sure most people won't even notice, but I do want to say, like, you know what? The HDR probably would have helped. Not a night and day difference. I mean, if I had to give it a grade, probably a 4 out of 5, and that's not knocking the transfer at all. I think if it had the HDR, probably would have bumped it up to a 4.5, but I'm not taking anything away from the transfer on this, which is really amazing, especially considering the film, the way it was shot, when it was shot, you know, and all that. You take all that into consideration, like a 4 out of 5 is an extremely very solid score for me. And same thing with the audio. So it does have the original audio, which sounds great as far as, you know, again, taking into account low budget film, when it was made, how they made it, and the limitations that it had. But as a proper presentation of the original mono mix, it sounds great. So again, I'll probably give it like a 4 out of 5. Again, taking into account some of the other stuff, but as a proper restoration, I mean, a 4 out of 5 for that is a great score for me. Now, if you already have the Blu-ray, is it worth upgrading? I mean, it depends on whether or not. I mean, for me, obviously I wanted to, because, you know, I mean, anything George Romero obviously means a lot to me. So I was obviously going to upgrade, and this is not one I even was going to wait for a sale from, but you may want to. Like, if you're looking to upgrade and you don't need it right away, keep an eye out for sales, because, I mean, you know, a couple times a year, Criterion has one of their 24-hour flash sales where you get half off. Do one of the Barnes & Noble 50% off sales, which they do twice a year. They do it in July and November. And as of this recording, November is coming up. So you get it for half off. So that maybe you want to wait till then. Now, if you're perfectly happy with the Blu-ray and you can hold off, then yeah, I mean, you're not really missing out on anything. Because again, the only thing on here that's new is the film itself in 4K. If you're a fan of the film, like I am, I mean, obviously this is really a no-brainer. I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's so great to have this in 4K. So now we have this in 4K. We have Dawn in 4K, technically UK release. So again, depending where you live, you have to hunt it down, but it is out there. And that's an amazing one. Now we need Day. We can get Day of the Dead in 4K. You know, that really needs a proper restoration. I like the later films as well. And I know not everyone does, you know, but I would love a 4K release of Land, for example, Land of the Dead. But for sure, somebody out there, please do Day of the Dead. I want a proper restoration of Day of the Dead. That is so overdue. So I just want to share some quick thoughts on Night of the Living Dead. If you got this release, definitely let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions on it, feel free to ask. I'll try and answer them as best I can. And oh, you know what? I don't think I gave a proper, like, a final score. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm still getting used to this. So, okay. Like a proper, like a final thoughts score, basically, sort of like my overall feelings on it, you know, taking into account my own personal love of the film. Like, I'd probably give it like a 4.5, I think. I think, to be fair, you know, 4 to 4.5. Let's go 4.5, because I mean, honestly, it's Night of the Living Dead. You know, it's like, so yeah. Okay, now, so yes. So definitely let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions, I'll try and answer them. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.